Who will win more than $40,000 in prizes in the mega massive Oh My Goodness Merry Mortgage giveaway from Cable Bahamas? Find out this Friday, January 24th, as we give away up to $25,000 in mortgage and utility payments, $10,000 in utility payments, and $5,000 in cable payments. The winners will be chosen from finalists from New Providence, Grand Bahama, ELEUTHERA, and Abaco at our mega event starting at 6:30 p.m. at Cable Bahamas Robinson Road. There will be free food, drinks, and prizes, so come out to party with us. And you can watch live on Cable 12 starting at 7 p.m. with our very own Uncle Darrell Miller. There will be free live entertainment from international recording artist and face of Cable Bahamas, Angelique Sabrina, as well as Autumn Joy Dames and me, Tony Lowe. We'll see you this Friday, January 24th at Cable Bahamas Robinson Road when we give away $40,000 in prizes in the mega massive Oh My Goodness Merry Mortgage giveaway.
A major announcement between the government and Cable and Wireless Communications. Members of the Bahamas Christian Council planning a special event 1 year after the gaming referendum. Dozens of environmental health workers protest in Rawson Square, a man murdered in Pinewood Gardens, and millions of dollars spent on small home repairs on New Providence. We have those stories and much more coming up tonight. Good evening, Bahamas. I'm Christina McNeil, and this is NB12. Thanks for joining us. It's been more than a year in the making, 16 months after high-level negotiations began between the government and Cable and Wireless executives over the majority ownership of the Bahamas Telecommunications Company. They finally closed the deal. Nikita Vo was at the Cabinet Office for the big announcement this evening. She has the details in this report.
It's a done deal. CWC has given up 2% of its stake in BTC. That 2% will be placed in a trust fund. Prime Minister Perry Christie this evening outlining the details of that deal here at the Cabinet Office. He called it a win-win situation for the government and the Bahamian people.
The majority economic interest in BTC will once again rest with the Bahamian people. Let me say right from the outset that this regaining of the majority economic interest in BTC will not cost the government or the people of the Bahamas 1 single cent. Not one. On the contrary, the government has been able to amicably secure the return of majority economic interest in BTC without having to pay anything for it. And I should add, without having to make any deals to get it done either. In particular, there will be no extension of BTC's monopoly, as indicated before by me with the consent and approval of the Cable and Wireless, and no postponement of the liberalization of the telecommunications sector, again as agreed to and indicated by Cable and Wireless.
Christie stressed this regaining of majority economic interest in BTC will not cost the government or the people of the Bahamas 1 single cent. Under the agreement, CWC will transfer more than 5 million of its shares in BTC back to the government. Those shares will be placed in a foundation that will hold shares in trust for the Bahamian people. This represents just under 2% of equity in BTC. It is estimated that annual dividends will be in the low 7-figure range based on historical performance. He says income from shares will not be going into the consolidated fund, but will be held separately by the foundation to ensure that the money is only used for permitted purposes.
Namely, to improve and expand the Bahamian people's access to and enjoyment of telecommunications technology throughout the Bahamas. Secondly, to assist in the development of athletics and other sporting, recreational, and civic activities in the Bahamas. And thirdly, to assist in the war against crime by expanding the use of CCTV and telecommunications technology as tools of law enforcement.
Funds from that foundation will also be used to assist the Broadcasting Corporation of the Bahamas in its telecommunications development. Christie says although the shares that are being required will carry all the entitlements of economic rights, they will be non-voting shares. There will be no change in existing arrangements regarding executive control and management control, which will continue to rest with CWC. CWC CEO Phil Bentley arrived in the Bahamas this afternoon for tonight's announcement. He called it an historic occasion.
I started my job on the 1st of January, and this is the third time I've come to the Bahamas. So I think you can take away from that the importance that I place on this part of our investments and this country in particular. We're very pleased that we have reached agreement with the government that will, as the Prime Minister said, return a majority economic interest in BTC to the Bahamian people and create the BTC Foundation.
Bentley says the agreement strengthens the partnership between the government and Cable and Wireless as they have a shared vision to ensure that BTC is a key driver for economic growth in the Bahamas. Now, Christie says the deal with Cable and Wireless proves that those who said he could not get back the 2% interest in BTC were dead wrong. He also says there will be no extension of BTC's monopoly. Reporting for NB12, I'm Nakia DeVoe.
Well, the fallout over the Prime Minister's gambling referendum regrets continues. Senior members of the Bahamas Christian Council are asking voters who opposed the referendum to come together once again for a special event. Dana Smith reports.
The Bahamas Christian Council is calling on its supporters to assemble in Rawson Square next Tuesday on the anniversary of the referendum. The council is asking the government to uphold and respect the outcome of that poll. This comes on the heels of the Prime Minister's admission that he regrets putting the matter to a vote and should have instead moved to regulate the web shop industry.
In recognition of the first anniversary of the referendum, the Bahamas Christian Council, in conjunction with the Save Our Bahamas Committee, plan to hold a national call to action and service of thanksgiving on Tuesday, the 28th of January, 2014, in Rawson Square at 7:30 p.m. The bottom line is the Bahamian people have spoken loud and clear their position. Anything that doesn't happen, whatever the Prime Minister fails to do, it's on him, not the Bahamian people.
Patterson was voicing his frustrations that the status quo remains as it relates to web shop operations, just shy of a year since the referendum took place. Calling for the results of the referendum to stand, Patterson explained if Prime Minister Perry Christie were to decide to regulate the web shop industry in the wake of the referendum results, it would discredit and undermine the process. The council said it could even cause the upcoming constitutional referendum on gender equality to fail.
If they refuse to adhere to the results of this referendum,
if it goes contrary,
what is it going to say to any other referendums that perhaps we might want to do later on in life? Why would I go to the polls to vote again? If what I'm going to, when I get to the poll and my decision at that time, how do I know if my decision is going to be valid? You see?
Think that may happen with the constitutional referendum?
Trust me, it will. Trust me,
it undermines democracy. It's in his best interest.
Patterson also said he had told Christie prior to the referendum that the issue of regulating web shops should not be put to a referendum. Despite his opposition to gaming, Patterson said he had told Christie to just make a decision.
Well, you know, the truth be told, we told the Prime Minister before the referendum that he should do it. So I'm sure he's aware that that was our position in the beginning. There was no need for him to come to the Bahamian people. I told him just go ahead and do what he has to do. Do not put it on the backs of the Bahamian people. Don't blame us if it doesn't work. They were our words.
Patterson stressed he did not tell Christie to regulate the industry. Rather, Patterson did not want the regulation of web shop gaming to become something the Bahamian people gave Christie the permission to do. He also said he wasn't blindsided by Christie's revelation that he regrets the referendum because the Prime Minister had told the council in a prior meeting.
So I wasn't surprised of the comment. But again, the Prime Minister didn't have to do this. He had a choice. We said, do not put this on the backs of the Bahamian people. If it fails, you take responsibility for it. If it messed up the country, you take responsibility for it.
Also responding to yesterday's vow by Police Commissioner Ellison Greenslade that police will take action against web shops, Pastor Lyle Bethel said they trust that he will. Reporting for NB12, I'm Dana Smith.
The Bahamas Christian Council also responding to the argument that regulating web shops could be a viable alternative to value-added tax. Council President Reverend Dr. Ranford Patterson says VAT implementation was imminent regardless of the outcome of the referendum.
VAT and the web shop taxation, there's nothing, they don't go together. VAT was going to come whether the web shops were legalized or not. All right, that's a mandate from outside that's placed upon us that we have to abide by.
Pastor Mario Moxie says he and other church leaders met with Minister of State for Finance Michael Halkitis previously. According to Moxie, Halkitis said regulating web shops would not have a major impact on the country's finances.
And that was a question that we had put to the Minister of State. And he clearly articulated that by regulating the web shops would not have made a dent to what we need in this country. VAT is a reality that we will eventually face, whether or not the number racket is regulated. So one doesn't have anything to do with the other. It is, as some of us sit around the table, it's nothing but smoke and mirrors.
Coming up, a group of workers from the Department of Environmental Health protest in Rawson Square over management and pay concerns.